Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्.
Script 28 Governance of Depository. Dear viewers, I am CS Dr. Yashree Dixit. In today's session, I am going to discuss the governance of depository, Investor Protection Fund of Depositories, Audit under SEBI, Depositories and Participants Regulations 1996, and the appointment of Common Agency for a Shared Registry work. So viewers, by the end of this session, you would be able to understand Number 1. To understand governance of a depository. Number 2. To know about the Investor Protection Fund of a depositories. Number 3. To know about Audit under SEBI, Depositories and Participants Regulation 1996. Number 4. To understand the procedure and powers of Securities Appellate Tribunal. Number 5. To know about appointment of Common Agency for a Shared Registry work. Now, we will discuss Governance of Depository, Governing Board, Disclosure and Corporate Governance. These regulations deal with the composition of Governing Board of a depository. The Governing Board of every depository is required to include Number A. Shareholder Directors, Number B. Public Interest Directors and Number C. Managing Director. Any employee of a depository may be appointed on the governing board in addition to the managing director, and such director shall be deemed to be a shareholder director. The chairperson shall be elected by the governing board from amongst the public interest directors subject to prior approval of SEBI. The number of public interest directors shall not less than the number of shareholder directors in a depository. The managing director shall be an ex officio director on the governing board and shall not be included in either the category of public interest directors or a shareholder directors. The disclosure requirements and a corporate governance norms as specified for a listed companies shall mutis mutandis applies to a depositories. Now, we will discuss Investor Protection Fund of a depositories. Regulation 53C provides that every depository shall establish and maintain an Investor Protection Fund IPF for the protection of interest of beneficial owners. However, this fund shall not be used by the depository for the purpose of indemnifying the beneficial owner under Section 16 of the Depositories Act 1996. Every depository shall credit 5% or such percentage as may be specified by SEBI of its profits from the depository operations every year to the Investor Protection Fund. Utilization of the IPF. The IPF may be utilized for the following purpose with a focus on depository related services: promotion of investor educations and investor awareness programs through seminars, lectures, workshops, publications, print and electronic media, training programs, etc., aimed at enhancing securities market literacy and promoting retail participations in securities market. To aid, assist, subsidize, support, promote and foster research activities for a promotion, development of the securities market. To utilize the fund for supporting initiatives of depository participants for a promotion of investor education and investor awareness programs. To utilize the fund in any other manner as may be prescribed, permitted by SEBI in the interest of investors. Depositories shall frame their internal guidelines on a utilization of the funds in accordance with the aforementioned objectives and post approval of their board of directors. Submit the same within 30 days to SEBI. Depositories shall also keep SEBI informed of any subsequent changes in internal guidelines with regard to utilization of IPF. Constitution and management of the IPF. The IPF shall be administered by way of a trust created for the purpose. The IPF trust shall consist of at least number A, one public interest director PID of the depository, B, one person of eminence from an academic institution from the field of finance, an expert in the field of investor education, a representative from the Registered Investor Association recognized by SEBI and managing director of the depository. The depository shall provide the secretariat for the IPF trust. The depository shall ensure that the funds in the IPF are kept in a separate account designated for the purpose and that the IPF is immune from any liabilities of the depository. Contribution to the IPF. The following contribution shall be made by the depository to the IPF: 5% of their profits from the depository operations every year. All fines and penalties recovered from DPs and other users, including clearing member, pool account penalty as specified in SEBI Circular SMDRP Policy Circular 05/2001 dated February 01, 2001. Interest or income received out of any investment made from the IPF, funds laying to the credit of IPR Investor Protection Reserves BOPF Beneficial Owner Protection Fund of the depository or any other such fund reserve of the depository shall be transferred to IPF. Any other sums as may be prescribed by SEBI from time to time. Investments of fund. Funds of the trust shall be invested in instruments such as central government securities, fixed deposits of scheduled banks and any such instruments which are allowed as per the investment policy approved by the board of the depository. The investment policy shall be devised with an objective of capital protection along with the highest degree of safety and least market risk. The balance available in the IPF as at the end of the month and the amount utilized during the month, including the manner of utilization, shall be reported in the monthly development report of the depository. Business continuity plan. A depository shall have an adequate business continuity plan for a data and electronic records to prevent, prepare for and recover from any disasters. Wind down plan. Regulation 35B of the SEBI Depositories and Participants Regulation 1996. Every depository shall devise and maintain a wind down plan in accordance with guidelines specified by SEBI. Meaning of wind down plan: a process or a plan of action employed for transfer of the beneficial owner accounts and other operational powers of the depository to an alternative institution that would take over the operation of the depository in scenarios such as erosion of net worth of the depository or its insolvency or its inability to provide critical depository operations or services. Audit under SEBI Depositories and Participants Regulations 1996. Regulation 55A of SEBI Depositories and Participants Regulations 1996 provides that every issuer shall submit audit report on a quarterly basis to the concerned stock exchanges, audited by a practicing company secretary or a qualified chartered accountant for the purpose of reconciliation of the total issued capital, listed capital and capital held by depositories in dematerialization form. The details of changes in the share capital during the quarter and the in principle approval obtained by the issuer from all the stock exchanges where it is listed in respect of such further issued capital. The audit report is required to give the updated status of the register of members of the issuer and confirm that securities have been dematerialized as per the request within 21 days from the date of receipt of request by the issuer, and where the dematerialization has not been effected within the said stipulation period, the report would disclose the reasons for such a delay. The issuer is under an obligation to immediately bring to the notice of the depositories and the stock exchanges any difference observed in its issued, listed and the capital held by depositories in dematerialization form. Now we will discuss internal audit of operations of depositories participants. The two depository service providers in India, which is National Securities Depository Limited (NSDL) and Central Depository Service India Limited (CDSL) have allowed company secretaries in a whole-time practice to undertake internal audit of the operations of the depository participants. NSDL has via its circular number NSDL SG 2010-99 dated 26 March 1999 notified amendment of its bylaw, and it specified that every participant shall ensure that an internal audit in respect of the operations of the depository is conducted at intervals of not more than 3 months by a qualified chartered accountant or a company secretary holding a certificate of a practice, and a copy of the internal audit report shall be furnished to the depository. CDSL have via its letter dated September 28, 1999 notified amendment of its bylaws. Every participant shall ensure that an internal audit shall be conducted in respect of the participants' operations relating to CDSL by a qualified chartered accountant in accordance with the provisions of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 or by a company secretary in practice in accordance with the provision of the Company Secretaries Act 1980s at such intervals as may be specified by the CDSL from time to time. A copy of internal audit report shall be furnished to CDSL. Concurrent audit. National Securities Depository Limited by its circular number NSDL Policy 2006-0021 dated June 24, 2006 provides for concurrent audit of the depository participants. The circular provides that whichever from August 1, 2006, the process of demat account opening, control and verification of delivery instruction slips (DIS) is subject to concurrent audit. Depository participants have been advised to appoint a firm of qualified chartered accountants or a company secretaries holding a certificate of a practice for conducting the concurrent audit. However, the participants, in the case they so desire, may entrust the concurrent audit to their internal auditors. In respect of account opening, the auditor should verify all the documents including KYC documents furnished by the clients and verified by the officials of the participants. The scope of concurrent audit with respect to control and verification of DIS cover the areas given below. Number 1. Issuance of DIS. The procedure followed by the participants with respect to number A. Issuance of DIS booklets including loose slips. Number B. Existence of a controls on DIS issued to clients including pre-stamping of a client ID and unique pre-printed serial numbers. C. Records maintenance for issuance of DIS booklets including loose slips in the back office. Number 2. Verification of DIS. The procedure followed by the participants with respect to number A. Date and time stamping including late stamping on instruction slips. B. Blocking of used, reported lost, stolen instruction slips in a back office system manual record. C. Blocking of slips in the back office system manual record which are executed in DPM directly. D. Two-step verification for a transaction for a more than ₹5 lakh, especially in the case of market transaction. Number E. Instruction received from a dormant accounts. The concurrent auditor should conduct the audit in respect of all accounts open, DIS issued and a controls on a DIS as mentioned above during the day by the next working day. In case the audit could not be completed within the next working day due to the large volume, the auditor should ensure that the audit is completed within a week time. Any deviation and or a non-compliance observed in the aforesaid area should be mentioned in the audit report of the concurrent auditor. The management of the participants should comment on the observation made by the concurrent auditor. The concurrent audit report should be submitted to NSDL on a quarterly basis in a hard copy form. If the auditor for internal and concurrent audit is the same, consolidated report may be submitted. Establishment of connectivity with NSDL and CDSL. To enhance the efficiency of the stock market, rolling settlement were introduced by SEBI. To facilitate the settlement, SEBI prescribed the compulsory dematerialization trading by companies through connectivity with both the depositories NSDL and CDSL. The stock exchanges may consider shifting the trading of securities of the companies who have established connectivity with both of the depositories to normal rolling settlement subject to the following. Number A. At least 50% of non-promoters' holdings are in demat mode before shifting the trading in the securities of the company from trade settlement TFTS to normal rolling settlement. For this purpose, the listed companies are required to obtain a certificate from its registrar and transfer agent RTA, submit the same to the stock exchanges. However, if an issuer company does not have a separate RTA, it may obtain a certificate in this regard from a practicing company secretary, charter accountant, and submit the same to the stock exchanges. B. There are no other grounds reason for a contribution of the trading in TFTS. The stock exchanges are also required to report SEBI the action taken in this regard in their monthly, quarterly development report. Now let's discuss about appointment of common agency for a share registry work. In many cases, the issuer companies are having an internal department or a division by whatever name call for handling of physical share work and outside agency for handling the work of electronic connectivity. This kind of arrangement is leading to delay in dematerialization, non-reconciliation of shareholding due to lack of proper coordination among the concerned agencies or departments, which is adversely affecting the interest of the investors. SEBI therefore by its circular D&CC FITTC CIR 15 2002 dated December 27, 2002 decided that all the works related to share registry in terms of both physical and electronic should be maintained at a single point, that is either in-house by the company or by a SEBI registered R&D agent. Further, SEBI by its circular D&CC FITTC CIR 17 2002 dated December 31, 2002 directed all the registrars and share transfer agents RSTA that number 1. They shall maintain records of all the shares dematerialized, rematerialized and details of all securities declared to be eligible for dematerialization in the depositories and ensure that dematerialization of shares shall be confirmed created only after and in principle approval of the stock exchanges where the shares are listed and the admission of the said share with the depositories have been granted. Number 2. They shall have the proper systems and procedures in a place to verify that the securities standard for a dematerialization have not been dematerialization earlier. Number 3. They shall ascertain, reconcile daily and confirm to the depositories that the total number of shares held in NSDL, CDSL and in physical form formalities with the admitted, issued and listed capital of the issuer company and number 4. They shall confirm that the dematerialization requests have been proceeded within a 21 days, shall also state the reasons for a shares pending confirmation for more than 21 days from the date of request. In-person verification IPV. SEBI has made it mandatory for all the intermediaries including depository participants to carry out IPV of their clients. The intermediary shall ensure that the details like name of the person doing IPV, his designation, organization with his signatures and the dates are recorded on the KYC form at the time of IPV. The IPV carried out by a one SEBI registered intermediary can be relied upon by another intermediary. Designated Depository Participants DDP. Designated Depository Participant means a person who has been approved by SEBI under Chapter 3 of SEBI Foreign Portfolio Investor Regulation 2014. A person shall not act as a designated depository participant unless it has obtained the approval of SEBI. Eligibility criteria for DDP. SEBI shall grant an approval to a person to act as a DDP subject to satisfaction of inter alia the following condition. Number A. The applicant is a participant and a custodian registered with the SEBI. B. The applicant is an authorized dealer category 1 bank authorized by the Reserve Bank of India. Number C. The applicant has a multinational presence either through its branches or through agency relationship with intermediary regulate in the respective home jurisdictions. Number D. The applicant has systems and procedures to comply with the requirement of FATF standards, Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002 and the rules and circulars prescribed thereunder. E. A certificate of registration granted to a DDP shall be permanent unless suspended or cancelled by SEBI or surrendered by the DDP. On 7th January 2014, SEBI notified the SEBI Foreign Portfolio Investor Regulation 2014 FPR regulation. Subsequently, the SEBI has also via a circular dated 8 January 2013 issued operating guidelines for designated depository participants who would grant registration to foreign portfolio investors. FPR designated depository participants DDPS are authorized to grant registration to FPIs on behalf of the SEBI. The application for a grant of registration is to be made to the DDP in a prescribed form along with the specified fees. So friends, let us summarize the session we discuss. Number 1. Every depository shall establish and maintain an investor protection fund IPF for the protection of interest of beneficial owners. Number 2. Depositories shall frame their internal guidelines on utilization of the funds in accordance with the aforementioned objectives and post approval of their board of directors submit the same within 30 days to SEBI. Number 3. A person shall not act as a designated depository participant unless it has obtained the approval of SEBI. I hope this session would have made your concept of governance of depository, investor protection fund of depositories, audit under SEBI depositories and participants, Regulation 1996, and appointment of common agency for a share registry work very clear. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you.